Opener here in Princeton, and ranked Tigers welcome in number 2 Maryland. Number 20, 60% combined this season. Tigers and Maryland, top 5 matchup. Princeton coming in number 5 in the media poll. Maryland on the turf.
This is going to be a key part of the game. We talked about clean substitutions, staying even, staying on man, and when there's, can you be efficient at the substitution box to get the best 6 on the field?
Your Zach Whittier looking for a shooting lane, works it up top. Bryce Ford, the grad on the midfield. He's a transfer. 2-year starter on attack at Binghamton. Go. Whittier left side, and it's 1-0 Terps, less than a minute in here in the second of the season.
Well, as they say, kind of take what the defense gives you, and it's from the crease, and Whittier just takes it with the left hand and a nice fundamental bounce shot to beat Craddock to take that early lead and not have had a lead against the Terps in their recent amount of times. He would win the face-off, go down and score.
McMeekin Lamb, in over a decade, the Tigers had finished the season above 50% of the faceoff. 8 goals as a faceoff man. That was second in the nation, and the Tigers get the quick equalizer midfield, and we're tied at 1.
Well, if you can't take the early lead, what Tucker Wade does, he takes what the defense gives him. The slide is late, and the bounce shot, taking it back to the first practice when you're a kid, bounce the ball, gives you a great letting up early goals.
Last week at Penn State, the 2 attackmen, Colin Burns, Coulter Mackesy. Tucker Wade didn't take a shot last week, but he ties it up here in the first.
And when you look at both, defensive prowess is one of them. You start sliding from these attackmen, you have to leave that one-on-one matchup at the midfield and hope you can make the stop there.
Favored possession, and that's one of the rule changes this year. They got rid of the man up or a violation. You're not allowed to take the next one.
And that's huge because the face-offs, we talked about, it comes down to that one-on-one matchup. Who can jump that whistle and get the advantage?
Without a point last week. Across the front of the crease, and the Tigers have it where he left off after that 4-goal game and the game winner. Or was that Mackesy?
Take a look, Mackesy. Below goal line extended, gets to the strong left hand side. The crease does not land in the goal mouth. The goal counts, and the play impact.
Is that the evolution of Coulter Mackesy, right? We talked about how good he is. As things they're trying to do is move him around, get him the ball in some different situations. Seeing him start luck.
Yeah, you used to just see him kind of above goal line extended on that left wing, especially in man-up situation with Burns and Kabiri. Burns and Kabiri, you talked about, they played together at Georgetown Prep. They get the 3rd cog in the wheel, a big cog in the wheel. That's Coulter Mackesy and a few athletes.
Right back into Mackesy in a little bit of an unsettled situation as the Tigers. You talked about the importance of the face-off X. Maryland beat Princeton in the red. Luke Weirman in those 2 matchups last year won 40 of 49 at the face-off X against the Tigers.
And you talked about the success McMeekin had. His matchup again.
Nate Kabiri at the top of the box. Handoff, Sean Cameron. Mackesy. Fire, tough angle, and a Princeton goal. The senior to make it 3-1 Tigers here in the first.
What a shot by Cam. I think I am. It's a low angle shot. It becomes even more of a low angle when you take that stat past McNaney, and Princeton off to a hot start, and they Maryland Terapins.
We talked to John Tillman, right, coming off that emphatic victory. Leave a short stick on. George Stamos was there, and you wonder if maybe he was waiting for the slide.
Stamos had a truck stick last week against Syracuse that made my jaw drop.
Strong athletic midfield play. This is going to be a fun game to watch. Huntington, New Jersey, out of Hunterdon Central. He's called for the violation.
Possessions are going to be key. Princeton so far controlling that statistic. McNaney probably corralled that last shot from a low angle with the right hand. If you're Princeton, you don't want to get a rhythm on the road, so you want to keep shooting early and often, given the predicament right now. But a tough
bit of kicks back across midfield. Princeton goes over and back, so possession to the Terps. And Madelon talked about it, right? You're going on the road, tough environments that he was generally pretty darn happy with.
Yeah, they won, as we talked about, in spite very well. Burns started his year off extremely well with 4 goals, started his career game 1 with 4 goals.
Maryland has held 3 straight opponents to just could not find the last time Maryland played a game 60 in career scoring.
Which is hard to believe, and it could be the parity that they have tallying up the points, but great defense here from the short sticks, particularly from that. And here he is again, but he gets beat.
Braden Erksa has been their leading scorer back-to-back contest. 5 guys in this game on the Tewaaraton watch list.
Erksa is a tremendous talent. He's talking about Miller. Take a look here. He's behind Erksa the entire time. Doesn't get it upfield, and then tries a high-risk check, and he kind of pays the price.
Braden Erksa 2 years ago. Points. 96 points for the junior from Marietta, Georgia. He's the Terps. He third another face-off win by Andrew McMeekin, who's won 4 out of 5 so far.
At practice, studied the film, and talked about his success, really not his best week at Penn State, and you know what a competitor McMeekin is. He's come out with a
big junior. Princeton had the second midfield line out there last time. Wade, Burns, Kabiri, Mackesy on the attack.
Last week against Syracuse. Syracuse loves the two-man game, a ton of picks and on the switches. So Princeton, they're going to have to be awesome with picks.
In the corner, there's a clean save by McNaney. The Terps, he's on the Tualatin watch list, his 59th career start. Maryland's got some numbers, but the Princeton Tigers doing a good job running out of the bar.
Bearing the number 1 for Maryland, which we'll talk about throughout the broadcast, goes to earn that number 1.
Historically an offensive number, the last 3 to wear it for the Terps. Little bit of miscommunication, the shovel shot from the freshman out of Spanos. It'll stay with the Terps.
Jack Schultz, he's used to the...
Here's Spanos, clean look, knocked aside, ball down. Michael Bath has it for the conference starters on defense for Princeton. Michael Bath, one of them, Colin Mulshine, the other. Possession for the Tigers. Through Burns, near Bonanno, top 10 freshman in the nation, joins the fray. Flag down here in the first. Carson, 2:45, the sophomore who missed all of last season. Through Dunphy, top of the box. Again, flag down on the field.
Good defense on Mackesy. You do not want to let him get momentum with
lefty as well, so some versatility. Here's Mackesy, takes some contact. Maryland touches it up, will finally get the call. Mackesy took a hit.
But there was a brick wall behind that pick.
Foul zone red, number 5, all offside, all 30 seconds.
Jack Schultz, the freshman, so possession will stay with the Tigers.
So take a look at this man-up unit for the Princeton Tigers. Burns behind the cage, and you see Kabiri goes from X, where he isn't traditionally in Sigler, with the ball.
And right on the doorstep, big number 36, the 6'3 senior from Burns. In the past couple of seasons on that man-up unit for Matt Madelon. Kabiri thought about stepping in. Plays catch with Mackesy. Hands free, and he's got his second. Man-up goal for...
What a shot by Mackesy. Maryland game, but what does that leave? The outside shot. Who's great at the...
This season is the Tigers with another early turnover. Maryland's got some for the right personnel and settle it down in the midfield. Braden Erickson.
Another name we haven't said a lot is Mr. Eric Spanos, who we highlight. Settled possession. What a shot!
Maryland making it a 1 Saturdays ago down at Loyola. 4-3 the score here in the first.
For the game. And one of the first people he talked about was Matthew Keegan. 6'1" with the left hand, beats Croddick. How about the energy?
We alluded to the first, nobody in the top 60 in career points. Part of that is because you look at the guy, they've got a couple of transfers. Bryce Ford, number 24, 162 again, nearly 50 points each of the past 2 seasons at Binghamton.
Out last week against Syracuse. A huge game in terms of ground balls that the Terps had to pull away from the Orange. And it can't be stated enough what this Terps defense have to pull away to come away with that victory.
Yeah, Jack McDonald, the grad student, one of the season, got the red shirt to come back after he played less than a minute, 2 games after that medical, or not the medical red shirt, but the NCAA waiver to get the about it 7 ground balls in that win against Syracuse. Saved by Crow, and now the Tigers try to have to clear.
We haven't talked too much about the conditions considered for February. It's a pretty good day, not a cloud in the sea, but not too frigid. But the sight lines for the goal.
Down in College Park took on Syracuse in some tough conditions. Princeton at Penn State, women's lacrosse was home last Saturday. It started chilly and then it finished in a snowstorm. Peter Bonanno, high pass pulled down by Mackesy. Tigers back, has it checked away from behind, ball down on the turf. Terps have a beat on it. Go back to Maryland. With 3.5 minutes to go here in the first. Turnovers in their 4th.
See Jackson Green on the field for the Tigers, who scored. Stick defensive midfielder. Also was on the football team here at Princeton.
Tremendous 3-sport athlete in high school up in Rochester, but was a football recruit, walked up midfielder and a pretty darn good one. 8 Aitken, second. Talk about the depth of this Maryland team. First
from Florida, but played at the Salisbury School and heating up. First career point for number 2, and a big one at that.
The 2-goal Princeton lead is gone, and we are knotted up at 4, and a good one here on Sherry against Syracuse. 2 transfers and a first-year starter making up that midfield line, Whittier, Ford, and Keegan.
Jeff Muller, short stick defensive midfielder. Talked about he got beat earlier on matchup.
Ford's got a short stick matchup. Muller fighting through the screen. Jump shots over his shoulder. Made the initial stop, but couldn't get it clean second.
Yeah, that looked more like a wiffle ball than a lacrosse ball when it was kind of fortuitous bounce. And it's Kelly at the end of it coming in. Backhand is good.
Up in the air, and it looked like Nick. So they originally
and then down to 60, which is where it should be.
Flat possession here. Zach Whittier, the senior. Saved by Croddick. The putback on the doorstep by Urksa. And it's a 2. Great second effort by the junior.
A nice job of preventing Daniel.
Good goal. We're all leading, guys. We're all leading.
So remains tries the backhand. It's knocked away. Princeton does everything but gain possession. Maryland goes man up, but instead Spanos goal, and that one misses the cage.
Elijah Stoball, the sophomore, out of IM, found the back of the net for the first time in his career last week in the win against Syracuse.
Timeouts, tightly contested matchup.
Good crowd here today, if you could.
Again,
through Wade at the top. Job moving him around. Kabiri goes low. McNaney able to get it cleanly.
Not the volume of shots you would expect, especially last week, just one, but in 2025 yet. He's trying, and so far McNaney's had his number.
Here, Terp. 8 saves for his counterpart Croddick in his second career start. Princeton has gone cold on offense. Second midfield line runs down for the Terps. Elijah. Jack Schultz, the freshman from about an hour north of here in Ridgewood. Whips through. 5 in a row for the Terps, and they have their largest lead of the contest.
You see Croddick tapping his chest saying, that one's on me. It's the left hand free, and you're just seeing fundamentals here. Using the turf to their Croddick, not seeing the ball as well today as he did a week ago in Happy Valley.
A lot of the attention for Maryland has been on the defense and how good they've been. That's the second running mate on that second midfield. Jack Schultz, the freshman from Ridgewood, New Jersey.
About no one on the team being top 60 on Maryland's all-time scoring list. So that's really hard to guard against. When you have people scoring that on, it's tough to pick your matchups and know where to slide from.
That's a hold on the feint of the Tigers. A lot of youth in that second midfield. Tried to draw the slide. Bonanno, number 12. Dunphy, the veteran, out there for the Tigers. Mackesy, time and space. Can't put it on cage, but it'll stay with Princeton.
Mackesy with time and space. That's why he is where he is on the all-time scoring.
Mackesy's got 3 points, 2 goals out in front. Vano was buying for his first career.
Exactly what they did to Syracuse in that second half. They just took away that inside game, the outside, and if McNaney gets going, that's tough to do.
Mackesy shot that with out towards midfield. Maryland able to come away with it. How about
it's the little things that win games. We talked about it from the long sticks for Maryland was probably the difference in that game. Again, it was the ground balls that were the difference.
Princeton scoring drought 5 in a row. From down 4-2 to up 7-4 with possession. Bryce Ford working on Cooper Miller, the sophomore. Cutter out 6 in a row for Maryland, and they're doubling up Princeton here in New Jersey, 8-4.
He's got a great left hand that we've seen thus far today. Knows where he is on the pitch. Buries it far side against Croddick, who finds himself out of position. The Terps are taking advantage of that to go up 8-4. Spanos and Urksa, they've had their impact. We talk about everybody else. Stop Spanos, got to stop Urksa. We'll dare everybody else to beat us. Well, everybody else.
Nick Meekin against, that is Keithler back out there, so the hold must not have been. Maryland a chance, stat an exclamation. Out 40 seconds to go. 6 can now up 8-4 with possession.
and possession has been the difference. Princeton, you could say, or at least
Princeton won 6 of the first 7 faceoffs. It's now even 7. Moved by Aitken, bidding for his second of the day. Kicks out of bounds, 15. Still ball against Freeman on the restart. Banos, under 10 seconds, turns the corner. Tough angle, 5.3.
In the crease for a quick stick. Daniel Kelly trying to quarterback that offense.
Here comes Urksa. Hits it over the crossbar. Under a
job by Urksa, and no slide.
Tried to get a tip in, that one knocked out of bounds. First half by the Terps, 6 consecutive goals, and they've got an 8-4 lead on the road.
It's back to take the lead, but at the end of 2, it's Maryland 8, Princeton 8-4 Terps. Opportunity for Princeton and his position 1 opportunity.
Burley's the senior from Edgewater, Maryland, one of the few players on this Maryland Final Four back in 2022 national semifinal up in Hartford.
What experience, and Burns gets on the board.
Tic-tac-toe, a fade by the junior Chad Palumbo to snap that scoring drought for the Tigers.
Halftime, Kabiri and Burns might have to get going for Princeton to chip away. Burns, this third quarter, finds himself on the doorstep.
We turn the favor. Michael Bath with the ground ball. The team co-captain along with Coulter Mack. Bath a season ago led the Ivy League in caused turnovers. Princeton looking for Cameron takes some contact behind the back from Kabiri. On the cage.
Does that get Kabiri going? Flashes the stick skills and the opportunity to move the ball. There's Kabiri against a short stick.
Nate Kabiri 2 in a row for the Tigers, and it's a 2-goal game here in the third. Finally for
Princeton overcomes the unforced turnover, gets the stop on the defensive end, turns it in with the behind the back pass to keep the play alive, and we'll start with that. Look, finds the short stick matchup and just shuffles it past McNaney. Really tough for McNaney to find that through a couple of feet.
Nick transfer forward against Cooper Miller. Keegan keeps it from Maryland. Now Whittier to Keegan. Terps looking for their first strike here in the third quarter. They had a 4-goal halftime lead.
With a lot of movement inside, Kelly and Urksa switching places from X.
Right hand, left hand gets the bouncer with the shot clock winding down, and Maryland. What an individual effort by the grad student transfer from Fairfield.
Behrens, just toughness. Against this goal lead for the Terps can feel like a 10-goal lead. So hard to chip away.
Daniel Kelly up top, Jack Schultz looking for a shooting lane against 20 on the shot clock up top. Ford, the Fairfield transfer. Loyola out in front, shot wide, was not on cage, so it'll stay with.
Start with Mulshine on him, kind of that matchup of the day.
And finally finds the back of the net to put the Terps back up 4. That's the match.
Yeah, the pick was effective. Really nice job there. Schultz the switch, but Spanos has a full head of steam to get topside against a short stick DC goal for somebody like Eric Spanos, who gets his first goal of the lacrosse family.
6 goals on 6 shots today by Sin in Denver. Princeton, man up expires, so the Tigers. And Maryland will go right back to work. The Terps a couple of times have led, looking to make it 9 consecutive wins in this series against Princeton. Keegan, the senior transfer from Binghamton. Largest lead of the day for the Terps.
By Keegan, sidearm, so mid to low shot with the left hand. And for Princeton, those are the shots you're actually open in the crease, and you're almost team like Maryland because it is so tough. Never mind score. So you're going to have to take some risks on offense. Hopefully those high risks done against a defense like this.
Nate Kabiri. Now Cameron. Short stick matchup. Didn't look corner and gets one back.
Couple of low angle goals for number 11 today. In game out, their position is perfect, and you got to give credit and business on the defensive end, but also Logan McNaney, who anchors the communication.
He'll get it out to the midfield with Ford and then head off to the bench. And Princeton can't get Bonanno off the field, so not a matchup that either team. 5-on-5 lacrosse here in front of the cage of Croddick. Out in the midfield on the far sideline.
That makes some more space in the crease.
Daniel Kelly 1-on-1.
12 extra pass. It was a high percentage goal right about now. an even higher percentage. Great job off ball, moves, takes the extra step, right? We talk about the green grass in front of you to get a high percentage shot. Nice easy layup for number 4 and get their best. Rose has the ball now.
Princeton had that early 4 goals. They've got just 3 goals since against one of the best defenders.
Active A.J. Larkin is on the slide, slid twice, and ISOs against Kabipland.
Tucker Wade, short stick matchup, looking for some McNaney here in the 4th.
McNaney just quiet confidence, volume, just in terms of demeanor, just seems so calm, cool, and collected.
Had 19 saves en route to an F. Not that Maryland got a piece of.
Deflected, but not deflected by the goaltender, so Kabiri.
Nate Kabiri shakes his Logan McNaney, but it kicks up in the air.
Vana
comes down with it. Here comes Princeton. Coulter Mackesy with a hat trick in the home opener.
Some Princeton alumni celebrating the goal in the stands, but when you do have those unsettled opportunities, you have to get shots off. Who better Mackesy, who just continues to pile up the points and cruise minutes. 4 goals, 3 defensive risks. You've got to force some turnovers, or even force some unforced turnovers. Possession back. Can't sit back and let Maryland just drain the clock.
He'll start his move with 20 on the shot clock. Working against Kramer. Goal.
And 2 Tigers collide.
Looked like picking himself up. That'll be the 2nd goal of the contest by Schultz. The New Jersey were colliding with Miller.
Yeah, it was not 2 Tigers colliding. Schultz did a great job. We talk about taking defensive risks. Probably the biggest.
5-goal Maryland lead.
1 minute remaining in the second half.
Wade against Stamos. Maryland with the slide. Wade passes off. Here's Quinn Kramer. He's got a brother Carson on the team as well. 2nd of the day. 13-9 the score late in the contest.
And full. Getting Kabiri going is huge for Princeton moving forward as well. You talk about the cogs in the wheel and the chemistry. You know what Mackesy can do with his 2nd goal of the day, coming off the 50-plus point season last year, going late.
Fell behind 4-2. Staff held the Tigers scoreless for nearly 25 minutes. And the 5 Princeton to improve to 4-0 on the season. 13 as Maryland downs the Tigers for the 9th consecutive meeting in Tillman's squad.
A fantastic effort away from home coming up to New Jersey. Cross, and we got a great matchup. It was tight, and Maryland pulled away. Right defense moved and took advantage of the matchups they were given. Maryland moved, enter next week's tangle with Notre Dame in Atlanta. #1 Notre Dame. As the fans out there, you can't ask for anything.